Hey, good people. I trust that everyone is doing well today. I'm doing pretty good myself, but anyway, gonna get right to it, right? Don't have much to say on today. Just was thinking about crypto a few moments ago. Seeing some notifications pop up on the phone had me thinking about some things. Let me just say, back in 2020, I have a point I'm trying to make though, right? Back in 2020, 2021, I made some good money, or good money I thought at the time, off of Bitcoin, right? I had my reasons for getting into it. Had the conversation with this dentist, and he had some good things to say about it, so it piqued my interest. Prior to the conversation, I thought Bitcoin was too expensive for me, and I would never buy it. Had a conversation with somebody and saw the difference it made in his life. So I said, you know what? I'll see what I can make off of it. And I've shared bits and pieces of this before. So anyway, I devised a plan, strategy, and started buying into Bitcoin. And it dropped, maybe fell from 68. I didn't start buying it until it hit 59. And I started buying it a little bit daily. And it fell all the way from 68 to like 42K within very short period of time, right? Less than 2 weeks, right? So it fell from 68K to 42K. And within 5 days of hitting 42K, it was back up to 68K. I had a little bit over $825 in it, right? And when it got back to 68K, my money doubled. So I'm scratching my head. Okay, I didn't have 0.1%. All I knew is whatever I had, it doubled. And my strategy was I only put in when it was below 59, no matter how far it fell, until it got back to 59, then I would hold pat with my position to see what it do going back up to 68K. And it did that. I did that strategy 3 different times. It fell from 68 3 different times. So the first time it fell, after I got in it, after it was on my radar, fell from 68K to 42K. I had 825 in it. By the time it got back to 52K, 59K, got to 68K, my money had doubled. The second time it fell from 68K all the way down to like 36K. Again, in less than 10 days. And again, after hitting 36K, within 5 days, it was back up to 68K. Well, of course, I hit it harder that time because I had learned from the first time, right? So my money did way better than double, right? I think I had like 1,500 in it the second time out of my pocket. But when it got back to 68K, I had well over double that, right? The next time, still in the same year, it fell all the way down to like 29K. And I was this close to borrowing the money out of my 401K to get a whole Bitcoin. But I didn't have the knowledge, the wherewithal, or the kahunas to pull the trigger doing that. Didn't want to have to explain that to anyone why I took 29K out of my 401K, especially if I couldn't put it back. But within 8 days of hitting 29K, let me say that again, within 8 days of hitting 29K, it was back up to 68K. Of course, my money had, went berserk that time. It didn't double, it didn't triple, it went beyond there. But of course, that time I had well over 1,500 in it because I had already seen it happen twice, right? So now, in regards to crypto, is what I'm hammering on right now. What I learned from that, because I didn't know it at the time, my knowledge at the time, I was just new to investing and trading. I was even newer to crypto. I had been in the game for a while, but I had just got pushed over into crypto from a friend of mine. And so, what am I saying? What I'm saying is the knowledge that I didn't have, I didn't know anything about a Bitcoin halving process, right? Well, I've been saying the last Bitcoin halving was in last year, which was 24, because now we're in 25. So 2020 was the Bitcoin halving process before that. So after Bitcoin halving, it's normally when crypto begins to wake up and go into run-up season for like 12 months, 12 to 18 months, right? I didn't know anything about that at the time. I was just trying my luck with Bitcoin. So this what I'm saying. If you're in crypto and you don't know anything about Bitcoin halving, Google Bitcoin halving, learn it, research it, go to YouTube and see how folks break down what you read about what Bitcoin halving is. You need to know, you need to understand what Bitcoin halving process is. If you are in any kind of crypto at all, it don't matter if you're in Bitcoin, Ethereum, doesn't matter what you're in, you need to understand what the Bitcoin halving process is. Why? Because as Bitcoin is to crypto, it would basically mirror what the S&P 500 is for the stock market. And if you know anything about the stock market, the S&P, that is the standard for the overall market. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is no more crypto, always have been, always will be. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to take my word. Go research it for yourself. It's one of my friends. I don't really know him. I feel like he's my friend. Been following him for a couple of years, and he's been amazing to me. Jasperi Singh of the Minority Mindset. He said, never blindly follow any YouTube influencer, to include himself. He say, everything that a YouTube influencer says, you need to go and research it for yourself, figure out what works for you, right? So I'm just sharing bits and pieces of knowledge, bits and pieces of information. You do with it what you will, right? I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is for you to hold, buy, and or sell crypto or stock. It's just food for thought for you to go do your own research and figure out what is best for you and yours. So again, what I was saying is what Bitcoin did in 2020, what it did in 2021. Because it did that same thing I did 3 times in 2020. I did the same thing in 21. Thought I was going to do it in 22 and 23. But I didn't know about the Bitcoin process, Bitcoin halving process until middle of 2022, as I was doing research trying to figure out how I made all that crazy money off of Bitcoin. And I didn't just make money off of Bitcoin. I just used Bitcoin, but I made money 2020, 2021 off of Bitcoin, off of Ethereum, off of Ethereum Classic, off of Shiba Inu, and I probably played with a couple other coins. But those coins there were very kind to me, and those coins had me thirsty to research crypto and understand what crypto is all about. I still don't know everything, but I know way more than what I did in 2020 and 2021, right? So, I said on my last video how Bitcoin, Bitcoin or crypto is due its parabolic run. You don't know what that is? You need to look it up. You need to understand what it is. And then you need to figure out if it's something you want to try to capitalize on, right? There's still money to be made in crypto. However, the money that I made in 2020, the money that I made in 2021, I thought that was good money. It was good money for my level of knowledge and my level of understanding at that time. Since then, I've learned that, you can make way 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times what I made back then. Is he making that up to draw us in? No, I'm just trying to tell you, right? But at this point in the game, it's pretty hard to make 10 times what you put into any crypto. No matter how deep your pockets are, you can make great money, but you're not going to see the prices you're not going to see the value of crypto that we've seen throughout crypto winter, right? Okay. Maybe there are 1 or 2 coins out there have fallen down that low. Maybe not. I know Bitcoin is nowhere near where it fell in the winter. Bitcoin in the crypto winter fell You ain't gotta take my word. You can get on a chart, learn how to take the chart back, and you can follow that coin where it was in crypto. When a Bitcoin right now is what, right around 109. I don't know. I haven't looked at it today, but it fell as low as 15,900 a coin. Let me say that again. Bitcoin fell as low as 15,900 a coin, and right now it's 109. It's been as high as 124, 125-ish. Just do the math from 15.9 to 124, or from 15.9 to where it's at now, 109. There's some money to be made in crypto. In crypto winter, Ethereum coin fell as low as $899 a coin. Now it might have fell a little bit lower than that, but on my radar, it fell as low as $899. And we know right now, what is it? I could pull it up, but I didn't, and don't really feel like it. You could do it for yourself, but it's probably somewhere around, what, 4,000 or just under 4,000, I think. So $899 to 4,000, and we know it's been as high as what, $499.99, 5K, $899, 5K. That's what money you could have made had you been studying it and understanding to take advantage of crypto winter. So no matter how far it falls now, if it falls down to 29K to 5K is nice money, but it's expected to go to 6K. It's expected to go somewhere between 6 and 10K, but by the end of this year. But don't take my word. Go do your own research, figure out what you feel comfortable with, and do what is best for you. Understanding that Bitcoin is the number 1 crypto, Ethereum is the number 2 crypto. You know, that you could go and Google what are the top 100 crypto coins, what are the top 200 crypto coins. There are over 22,000 crypto coins, and not everyone is still going to be around by this time next year. So you have to do your research. You have to figure out, based on your level of knowledge, your level of understanding, what are you comfortable with, and then do what you're comfortable with. And whatever you make, be happy with what you make, right? You know, you don't necessarily have to make 10 times over. It's your first time around. Let me say it again. If it's your first time around, the name of the game is to make as much as you possibly legally can, right? And then you'll know next run-up season, you'll know how to take advantage of crypto summer. You'll know how to take advantage of crypto winter, and you'll make you some money. Same thing with stock. You know, you can get into some stock right now. What's the hottest thing going right now? AI. You can go do some research for AI stock, and you probably, you know, depends on what's AI stock. NVIDIA is AI stock, but NVIDIA is the hottest stock. So you're not going to get a great deal on NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is expected to be $300 stock within 1 to 3 years, right? May take 6 months, but the safest thing to believe is 1 to 3 years, okay? But there is that NVTS, if I'm saying it right. That's an AI stock as well, right? And it's in its baby stages. It's in its infancy stages. It's not an infant anymore, right? Price-wise, it's pretty low. No telling how long you have to hold on to it before it moons, before it turns to 5, 6, 7, 8 times over. But the name of the game is you can get in it while it's beat down. And as long as it's beat down, you could build a nice, strong position. So when it do take off running, you'll be in there, right? What else? When Bitcoin runs, so will Bitcoin ETFs run. So you can Google Bitcoin ETFs, right? ETF is a stock, right? So you have Ethereum ETFs, you have XRP ETFs, and you have other crypto ETFs that in the works, right? You can Google those things, right? So, you know, it might be, maybe you can afford a little bit of Bitcoin, even more Bitcoin ETF, maybe a little bit of Ethereum, even more Ethereum ETF, right? You know, just sharing tips of the game, right? I'm 14 minutes in. I wanted to close out in 10 minutes, and I just wanted to just drop some fruit, drop some little nuggets, drop some little info, right? Do with it what you will. Hopefully I've said something to pique your interest. If you're not interested in crypto, if you're not interested in stock, that's crypto ETFs, that's fine. Do you. You can, get into Amazon, or get into Google, or get into the S&P 500, or get into the NASDAQ, right? Get into QQQ. What am I talking about? You can go look all these things up, right? Apple, let's see, what is that? Nike, Verizon, Starbucks, Walmart. The list goes on and on and on, right? But you can look up people like Chris Sane. You can look up people like Larry Jones, Keenan Grace, Stocks with Josh, Stock Mo, and the list goes on and on. And these people can better help you understand the markets, better help you maneuver the markets, and hey, get on the financial journey and let it turn your life around. But it's been nice sitting here chatting with you guys. Hopefully I've challenged you. Hopefully I've said something to pique your interest, and wish you all the best in this financial journey. You guys take care and be blessed continually, my friend.